Movement tips and lifestyle hacks brought to you by FitLabPGH. Movement, a part of making your life complete. FitLabPGH is back with more movement tips and lifestyle hacks. Today you can see we've got the gondola pole again. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can search for it in YouTube under FitLabPGH. You'll see on March 13th we talked a little bit about the gondola pole, which is common in Pilates, and some uses that we use for it to improve some shoulder mobility. We're going to use it again today. In no way do we say we are the only ones doing these exercises, but we want to be a site that you come to, listen to our podcasts, and say, hey, I can pick up some movement tips and lifestyle hacks too. So unfortunately, I'm one of those people who are getting a little bit older. I've always lacked a little bit of mobility, and I spend a lot of time on the computer because of my regular job and because of my involvement in professional organizations. So as I get older, I've realized I need to do something to counter-effect the rounded shoulder, hunched back, thoracic flexion position that I spend a lot of time in. And the more ways that I can figure this out, the more ways that I can work at this, the more likely I am to do something if I have a few minutes. So I was playing around with the gondola pole a few days ago, and we're going to show you something that today we're calling the lat lunge. So we're using the gondola pole to get a little bit of length, to work on some flexibility in the latissimus dorsi. We'll get the serratus anterior probably a little bit, and probably also, if you start looking at the muscles, a little bit of the teres major. So any of those muscles in the posterior shoulder girdle that get short, this is something that might be beneficial. Remember, any sort of medical or shoulder problems, check with your medical professional before trying it. So we take the pole, and what we're going to do is we're going to stretch the right side first. So we put the pole slightly to the left of our midline. We put our knees underneath our hips. We think about having our pelvis and our ribs connected. We think about a long, flat back. And what we do is we push with the top arm as we pull with the bottom arm, and think about fixing the pelvis. So we think about reaching with that top arm, being really aware not to shrug the shoulders, and then holding that position, we can just kind of move around, find an area that maybe feels a little tight, a little sore, breathing in and breathing out. I may spend 15 or 20 seconds on that side, maybe even longer if I find a sore area, and then I'll switch to the other side. So we put the pole to the right side of the midline for stretching the left shoulder and the left back area. This is the area that I'm tighter in because I'm left-handed, and I may spend more time in this. So I'm just pushing with that top arm, pulling or pushing with the bottom arm, pushing down, reaching long out of the top back of the head, making sure my shoulders aren't shrugging. And I may find a position. I may also consider doing a little bit of rotation in the thoracic area, just to find an area that's tight. In no way is this a substitute for doing other forms of exercise. It's not a substitute for doing strength training, but it's something that you can use kind of as a movement tip and lifestyle hack, especially if you're spending a lot of time in front of the computer or a lot of time driving. Give it a try. Let us know in the comments or on our podcast comments what you think. And this was another movement tip and lifestyle hack from FitLabPGH. 3 times a week, FitLabPGH brings you a movement tip or lifestyle hack. Thanks to the Pilates Body for providing us a locale for filming.